Right. This is gashing it. Basaksehir 2, United 1. I don't even know how to begin to address this, and I think probably the best thing to do is to start on how do we go behind? How do we go behind in the first place? We went behind in the first place because someone, I don't know who it is, I'm going to have to watch the game back and see. I don't know if that was our first corner of the game. In fact, I can find out, actually. Give us a sec. Yeah, I think it was our first corner of the game. I think. So, from that corner, nobody stayed behind on the halfway line. At Paddock FC, we have man for man plus one. So if they leave one forward, I keep two back. If they leave two forward, I leave three back. No one's ever left more than three. And if we have three, I leave four back. Like I said, usually it's two that get left forward. People don't usually leave tons forward against us. And we'll wait on the halfway line. And usually you might leave a forward or a winger up. They try and get split. We stay a bit narrow. We usually have maybe a number 6 halfway between. And that's defensively pretty sound. Now, I've seen people blaming Solskjaer for that, which is mental. He is to blame for some things, and we are going to touch on those. But that's mental to think that Solskjaer in his team briefing yesterday was like, right, lads, here's how it's going to go down. What we're going to do is we're going to line up and we're going to put 10 men in the opposition box at corners. They're not going to expect that, so it'll work. Usually it's your fullbacks, probably your defensive midfielder that you leave behind. Of late, United have been having fullbacks, at least Luke Shaw, take corners. So I don't know why Wan-Bissaka was forward, because Wan-Bissaka's your perfect guy to defend from corners because he's fantastic 1v1. And generally, as you saw with Demba Ba's goal, that's what you're going to get. It'll be a big oof up. So you want someone quick. You want someone who's going to have a decent tackle on him. And that's how you defend that situation. United left nobody up. And not only was there no one in the halfway line, there was probably no one for 20 yards inside the opposition half. We was literally every man forward. What was it? 15 minutes or something into the game. Every man forward. Let's try and get on the end of this. Mental. Now, you can't blame Ollie for that because I did see Mike Phelan on the touchline going berserk. So clearly, someone forgot what they were doing in that situation. I don't know who it was because I'm sure as the next corner it would have been rectified. So you're never going to know. And I would love for someone in the press conference to actually ask a proper question rather than the absolute shit they're going to ask him and just be honest and say, Ollie, whose job was it to stay on the halfway line? Who didn't do their job? Now, Ollie might not give you the correct answer. Ollie might say something to protect his players. I don't know. But it would be nice if someone actually asked a question on it. The second goal. Second goal was a bad ball from Bruno, a bad control from Mata, not excellent coverage. I think Maguire and Tuanzebe got back. But then Luke Shaw's 5 or 6 yards off the guy who ends up scoring as Mata loses the ball. But there's zero hustle in Luke Shaw, so he doesn't think, oh, shit, get back. And he just leaves the guy in. When the ball comes over to the left-hand side of the pitch, that's your responsibility, mate. You've got to get there. You've got to bust a gut to get there. When they score from that side of the pitch, you've got to get there. Simple as that. As soon as they was 1-0 up, and certainly once they went 2 up, it was all hands on deck for Istanbul then. United ended up with 68.3% possession. At the first goal, it had already kind of gone that way. United had had a fair chunk of the possession up to then anyway. And we'd held it quite well. We'd been holding it with Van der Beek. We've been holding it with Matic. We've been holding it with Bruno. And we'd actually been being in their half. Now, it's always going to be narrow when you play a 4-2-3-1 with one Mata in the team. Because Juan Mata forgets that he's a right winger and he does all of his best work central or even on the left-hand side. I don't know why we don't play him on the left-hand side. He spends that much time there. So many times since Valencia's been there, now Wan-Bissaka's been there, for years at this football club, we've looked up and seen nobody on that right-hand side. United's best opportunities came today from switching play into the two channels either side of the wing, because that was where the space was. Istanbul went very narrow. And that's the thing you're supposed to do. Go inside the width of the box, let them have the ball out there. We'll fucking deal with it a little bit later. That was where United were managing to get a little bit of time on the ball, but it's very easy for people to sit in low blocks when they've got a 2-goal cushion. Now, they didn't have the 2-goal cushion for long, granted. We scored pretty quickly after they scored the second. But even having that 1-goal cushion for the entire second half, they did nothing with the ball in the second half. They was happy to sit back, happy to defend. Yeah, just see what happens. This means this weekend's game is enormous for Solskjaer. And I don't know why no wins in 3 seems like this big, monumental thing. But it feels like it is. And make no mistake, this is a massive, massive game. Carlo Ancelotti. Everton were flying. They've tapered off a little bit. But they've had the week off. This is where these teams are going to really start to push. This is where these teams are really going to hurt us. This is where Everton could turn us over this week. They really could. Ollie does have this knack of getting a big performance when he needs it. And I can't believe we've gone to Istanbul after going to Paris and playing Leipzig at home and putting in some pretty convincing performances. Whether or not it was just on the result, but the performances were so much better. Did the players take this one easy? Did we have one eye on weekend thinking we have to start making up ground against the rest of the Premier League? I don't know. What I do know is that was abysmal. And it was a different level of abysmal to what Arsenal was. Arsenal was a 0-0 game. The same way Chelsea was. It was a 0-0 game and they ended up getting a bit of a soft penalty. That changed the game. I don't know if Ollie shit himself after conceding 9 in 2 games. Maybe. I don't understand what it is. Right, I'm going to see what the Patreon massive are saying. Got a couple of super chats here. School children have better defensive brains than 80 million Maguire and 50 million Wan-Bissaka. Can I still justify Ollie? Yeah, you've just done it yourself there. So if school children have better brains than those two, what do you think the next manager is going to do with those two? We got a super chat here from Joga Benito. Go and express yourselves, not a tactic. There have to be patterns and structure like City. No, it doesn't have to be exactly like City. There's literally 5 teams in world football that have got attacking structure like that. Everybody else, it's a little looser. You can't plan for every single tactic that you're going to come up against. Low blocks are hard to beat. They are. It's a simple fact of the matter. They're difficult to break down. When Ollie took over, caretaker was not crossing, just cutbacks. Now it's back in full effect. Awful. You got to question why. One of his big runs, it was Brandon Williams that was playing fullback, not Luke Shaw, last season. When he first took over, Ashley Young played a lot of games. You know, you've got to look at some of the personnel that are out there. You've got to say, are these people good enough? The lack of a right winger is still hurting us massively. Didn't understand the substitutions. Don't understand why Axel Tuanzebe got subbed. Why you're now playing a high line and a risky tactic when you're going to have to force your way into the opposition half. You're going to leave 40, 50 yards behind you. You've already seen Demba Ba smash you open once. Why don't you leave Axel Tuanzebe on? Because at least he could catch him. Playing Matic and Maguire as a centre-half partnership, it's the slowest partnership on the face of this planet. It's insane. That is on Ollie. Bringing on Scott McTominay. What are we missing here? We are trying to score an incisive goal. We're trying to get the ball into the forward's feet. Sweet. The fuck have you brought Scott McTominay on for then? Because that's not his game. His games deal with aerial threat, work hard off the ball. He isn't the let's push forward and get a goal guy. That's not his game. If anything, put Van der Beek in the number 6 and have him do the Michael Carrick thing and try and find some passes that go from back to front really fast. Why take Marcus Rashford off when you're putting Mason Greenwood on? Play them all. Fucking go for it. Have 4 forwards on the pitch and keep putting balls into their feet. And actually, you could probably put a couple in the air for Cavani because he can get onto them. Did we cross a ball once Cavani came on the pitch? Some of this is on Ollie. Some of this is on our players being fucking idiotic people who don't understand football. Some on Ollie, some on the players. This is the annoyance that we have at the moment with this. And it frustrates the shit out of me. Axel was poor. I disagree. I also think that you can't rely upon people to just get one game a month and think that they're going to be fucking Paolo Maldini for you. Certainly at centre-half. I don't think he was poor. Why Howson always defends Ollie is beyond me. Because I'm a fucking supporter of my football team and I'm always going to support my manager. People massively overstate what a manager does and the impact that he's able to have on a team and underestimate how much of the blame of defeats should be on footballers. If you listen to managers, they will tell you everything you need to know. It's on the players. The most important thing in football is recruitment. The most important thing. You think Sir Alex Ferguson just lost it in the middle of the 2000s? Or was he being forced to play with fucking Bellion, Kleberson, Jemba Jemba and Kieran Richardson with Mikel Sylvester prior to getting Nemanja Vidic? There you go. Oh, suddenly once he had a back four, which was Wes Brown, Vidic, Rio, Evra in front of Van der Sar, we started to win things. Well, fuck me. Why did that happen? Recruitment. Now, also on that, the manager's job is to keep those players happy. The manager's job is to put those into a team that's able to go on and win stuff. But recruitment's the most important thing. And no matter who this club gets, no matter which manager, with what pedigree, because I'll tell you this, Louis van Gaal walked into this football club with as much pedigree as you can find. And they replaced him with the one guy who's got more in Jose Mourinho. And what happened? They were given money. They got Champions League football and they got told to kick fucking rocks when they asked for more money to improve this side. Both of them improved this side. But if you're not constantly moving forward, you lose ground in the Premier League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did what he was asked to do. He took us to 3rd place and he went, cool, I want to invest in this team. What do we got? And they go, right, here's a midfielder that you're probably not going to play because he's not quite Pogba, not quite Bruno. Is a striker who's on a free that we could have had a couple of months ago and may or may not be a flop. Is a winger you're not allowed for a few months. And here's another left-back. So the left-back might have been an improvement. Everybody else, not fucking really. Jose Mourinho's done the same thing. He gets us to 2nd place. And we were shit when we got to 2nd. And he went, I want to take this team forward. What have we got? And he went, how about a 3rd choice goalkeeper, a 19-year-old fullback who may or may not be something, and Fred. Again, not necessarily a 1st choice midfielder. If you want to improve, you have to recruit. You have to recruit for your first team. You have to take your first team forward. Unless you've got a perfect first team. And guess what, fuckers? We have nothing like a perfect first team. That's the issue. Manchester United needed massive recruitment. We don't even have a right winger. We don't even have a right winger. We've got a championship level geezer in James. or a striker playing out there in Mason Greenwood. Why the fuck do you think anybody else that comes in, once you've had Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and then the wonders that Ollie has done at times with this football team? He's got, prior to tonight, the best ever record away from home. He's put 2 unbelievable winning runs together. First one halted by injuries. Second one halted by just running the squad into the ground because he wasn't happy with the rest of it. This job's fucking ninja, and it's doubly hard because our owners are wank. You can get me any manager in the world. He's not going to be a success at this fucking football club. And if you lurch from one style of play to another style of play, all that's going to happen is good fucking players end up leaving and getting out the door because the next manager coming in doesn't rate them. Louis van Gaal, he was doing all right with Memphis Depay. A manager that can come in and put some confidence in him and allow him to be the fucking crank that he is would have probably got something out of him, as we saw at Lyon. Jose Mourinho gave Memphis exactly 4 fucking minutes before he binned him. 4 minutes. Wasted. Daley Blind would be an absolute god at Manchester United in this side. What, he's got a manager that wants to play out from the back? You need someone that's intelligent and has got some football nous and reads the game really well. Yeah, fuck him off to Ajax. That's the issue when you lurch from one style of play and one manager's philosophy to another. It's been not even 2 years. Sir Alex Ferguson took 7. You cunts have had him fucking sacked after 1 fucking season. Have some patience, you entitled little pricks. It takes time. And it takes even longer when you've got a board who doesn't give a fuck and isn't willing to invest into anything. What's my stance on Ollie and his tactical decisions, says Carl. Cheers for the super chat. Do we back him and stick to the rebuild and hope his tactics improve? Here's the thing, right? He got his tactics wrong against Arsenal. He got them right against Leipzig. He got them right against PSG. Arguably, didn't necessarily do a terrible job of getting them right against Chelsea. He just was a bit fucking boring, and I think the team selection probably could have done better. He gets his tactics right more often than he gets them wrong. He's just been a couple of wrong ones in the last couple of weeks. Undoubtedly wrong. But he does get them right more often than he gets them wrong. So my stance on his tactical decisions is wasn't great the last couple of weeks. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. He's the manager that got sacked from Cardiff. Listen, fuckface, he's also the manager that broke a record Sir Alex Ferguson didn't have and some Matt Busby didn't have in terms of consecutive wins. What the fuck's got... Do you want to know what happened at Cardiff? Even Sir Alex Ferguson says, shouldn't have took that job. But here's what happened at Cardiff. He took over Malky Mackay and his win rate was higher than Malky Mackay's. He took their points per game up. Cardiff were fuck no matter what. He didn't relegate them. They was on their way down and he tried to save them and failed. And do you know what? Sometimes maybe a manager's better suited to being a manager at the top than he is a manager at the bottom. Some managers fucking thrive on that shit. Steve Bruce is doing a phenomenal job at Newcastle, but would anyone think that he could come in and do the Manchester United job? Not a fucking prayer. Maybe he's suited to teams that are fighting relegation. Maybe David Moyes is suited to being a manager that manages mid-table and overachieves by getting a little bit higher. Is Pep Guardiola going to be the kind of cat that comes in and fucking saves the team for relegation? If you put Pep at Newcastle, you'll think he's the worst fucking manager that the world has ever seen. You're going to try and play out from the back with people with 2 left feet. It's not going to fucking fly. You've got to pick the right tool for the right job. Whatever Ollie did at Cardiff was fucking ill-conceived and didn't work. Who do I think played well tonight? Fucking nobody, to be honest. And there you go. There you go. If none of your players play well, you're probably going to fucking lose. Even Dean Henderson. How many saves do you have to make? He made none, as far as I'm aware. Probably could have done better with Demba Ba. Why didn't he come out and close him down? Is that on Ollie as well? Right. 2 points from a possible 12 at home in the league doesn't suggest right tactics. You're not wrong. The form at home is fucking worrying. Undoubtedly. It is. That's it. There's no excuse for it. It's worrying. It is. But you can't just fucking bin every manager and think that that's going to be a magic bullet. How many look, in the entire league system, people are fucking binning managers left, right, and centre. Guess what? Don't fucking matter. Ollie's record in his first 100 games better than Jurgen Klopp. What happened? They got behind the guy and they supported the guy. And what happened then is they eventually went on and won the title. Now, I'm not saying if you definitely stick with Ollie in 5 years, he'll have won us a title in the Champions League. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it takes a long time to turn these ships around. A long fucking time. And 2 years is not a long fucking time. 2 years is not a long time. When did Klopp come? It was October 2015, yeah? Right. When we finished second, they finished fourth. That was 2018. We've been there nearly 3 years. 2 full seasons-ish? No? Yeah, 3 seasons, pretty much. Has he won anything? Who the fuck are we talking about here? Stop backing Ollie. Don't fucking tell me what to stop. I support every fucking manager this club's had. All of them. Bingo. Let's hire the loser who got fired from Tottenham. How about that? If you want to get fucking good, here's what you do. Because if you actually look at what happened, was Pochettino good at Southampton, or did they recruit well at Southampton? The likes of, I'm not sure how many of these was actually there at the same time, but a lot of these players were. Van Dijk, Alderweireld, Mane. They did some good recruitment. Maybe that's why the team overachieved and then moved on. Spurs, they did pretty well. They did some good recruitment. Eriksen, Son, players like this. RB Leipzig at the moment, doing well. They've pulled out some fucking players, Upamecano, people like that. Joe signed all them players. Paul Mitchell, director of football. I expect to see some bullshit in the press about him coming to United soon. I think he's just moved to be the global football director at the whole RB group. Recruitment's more important. You give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer some good players, and he's already proven what he can do with a good squad. He's already proved it. Those 2 runs that he went on were unbelievably consistent, good against the top 6, just beating the teams lower down than us in the league. And then when we got injuries, and when that first 11 crumbled, we were fucking garbage. And I don't know what the excuse is tonight, because it's a pretty good selection there. Henderson aside, that's largely a first-choice United team. So I don't know what the excuse is on that tonight. But you back the guy and you give him something and he proves it. Otherwise, you're just going to ask for another fucking manager to come in and an 18 months down the line want him fucking gone when he's not been backed by the board. Right, 5 things we'll learn will be out tomorrow in a bit.